Coming up on the March 4th edition of Sports Extra.
The Heels went to South Carolina and declawed the Tigers, but it was far from easy.
The Diamond Heels continue to carry around big sticks and big brooms that are getting a lot of use.
Speaking of brooms, you probably forgot about this revenue sport, but we didn't.
All that and so much more, Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Undefeated on the road in the ACC, not an easy feat in the best conference in the land. Good afternoon, I'm Elena Pirtle.
And I'm Jilly Kuhn. The men's basketball team has a chance to reach those lofty heights with a win tomorrow night.
That chance almost ended Saturday night when the Heels traveled to South Carolina to face the unranked Clemson Tigers in an ACC rivalry game. In the first half, Kobe White goes off a screen set by Luke May to sink a deep three-pointer. At the top of the key, Brandon Robinson scoops it to Seventh Woods, who lobs it to Garrison Brooks for the big two-handed finish. On the fast break, Nasir Little finds White in transition to give Carolina the lead. At the start of the second, Kenny Williams finds Brooks for another slam dunk. With 9 minutes and 15 seconds to go, the Tar Heels were down by 4 when White finds May from deep. White double-teamed in the corner, passes to Brooks, who swings it to Cameron Johnson for the three. UNC up by 2. Clemson loses the ball on the rush down court as Carolina manages to avoid the upset 81-79. The Heels remain tied atop the conference standings with Virginia. Assistant coach Steve Robinson was on the bench for the duration of the game.
So this is the second time that this has happened. Like I told him, I think the first time it happened, I like to have a little bit more advance notice. Just that's not an easy thing to do.
After Saturday night's performance, Kobe White has made 73 pointers on the season. That puts him well within striking distance of the UNC freshman record set all the way back in 2003 by Rashad McCants, who made 72 threes in his first year. Carolina basketball just tweeted out that White is ACC Freshman of the Week and ACC Player of the Week. UNC will face Boston College on Tuesday night. We have basketball analyst Mallory Marks live in studio to break down the close win against Clemson and how the Tar Heels' next matchup is looking. Mallory?
Elena, this was a nail-biter until the very end. And if the close score didn't have Carolina fans worried, Roy Williams going down by the Carolina bench at the end of the first half surely did. We're glad he's feeling okay. But what wasn't feeling okay Saturday night? The Tar Heels' inside shooting. Clemson came into the game 9th in the country for two-point field goal defense and held Carolina to a season-low 18 points in the paint. But the three-point shooting Heels have returned. I'm confident the Heels can adjust to whatever defensive strategies they come across. Tough in the paint? That's fine. They'll just knock down 13 shots from behind the arc. And freshman Kobe White had 6 of those. But was it just because Clemson's school color is orange? Some of Kobe White's best games this season have come against opponents with one thing in common. They all feature the color orange. White's 30-point games came against Texas, Miami, and Syracuse, and he's pretty good against other teams as well, averaging nearly 26 points against orange-clad opposition. Unfortunately, Boston College won't be wearing orange, but maybe maroon is close enough. This should be a pretty easy matchup for the Heels on face value, but here's the thing. The second Duke face-off is Saturday, and we'd be foolish to think there's not a lot of focus on that. My worry is that Carolina tends to drop the ball when the Heels have what should be a give-me game, and if they're already thinking about Saturday, it could be trouble. Here's what they have to do to keep that from happening. BC has some big physical guys who are going to drive to the rim. The Heels have to play solid D and keep the ball out of the lane. The Golden Eagles have the 3rd highest scorer in the ACC with Kai Bowman, but we saw Sterling Manley make his first appearance back to the floor in 16 games, so if he's ready to come back, the Carolina big man rotation could be a huge help to counter the BC big men. I also wouldn't mind seeing Roy try Seventh Woods and Kobe White on the floor at the same time again. It didn't particularly work out in the Clemson game, but I think it could here. Woods is a strong defensive player, and White can take care of knocking down the buckets, and maybe have a fewer turnovers while he's at it. Statistically, if the Heels play like they have been, this game should be theirs, but they have to stay focused and think about this game first and not let it be a trap game before Duke. Knock down threes, keep the Golden Eagles out of the paint, and I'm giving this one to the Heels.
Boston College may be the Golden Eagles, but there's only one school that's going to take flight on Tuesday. Thanks, Mallory. And we do hope Coach Williams is feeling better tomorrow night. He had that scary vertigo episode against Clemson this weekend, similar to a situation a few years ago at Boston College. And when Coach isn't feeling well, it does impact the players, but they were able to pull out the win.
Yeah, I don't know much about vertigo other than it seems to be a condition that he deals with pretty often. It's definitely scary to watch, but we're just glad he's feeling better and we wish him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. One thing that's bound to make Coach Williams feel better is the new AP Top 25 rankings. The Tar Heels come in at number 3 in the most recent polls, trailing only Gonzaga at 1 and Virginia at 2. Some other blue team is ranked number 4, and Tennessee rounds out the top 5. Looks like we're set for a top 5 matchup this Saturday in Chapel Hill.
Carolina's women's basketball team finished up the regular season with a trip to Duke on Sunday afternoon, and unfortunately for the Heels, it didn't end well. Duke had control of the game from the very beginning and held UNC to 10 points in the first quarter. Leanna Odom scored big for the Blue Devils, racking up 22 points on the afternoon. Paris Key wouldn't go down without a fight, but still wasn't able to perform like she has been so far this season. Junior Haley Gorecki put together a solid performance for Duke as one of 3 Devils to record a double-double. The game ended with some heat as Janelle Bailey went after trash-talking Jade Williams, leading to Bailey getting ejected. Carolina falls to Duke 62-44. Head coach Sylvia Hatchell addressed the late game skirmish.
There's no question that we want to be competitive, but we're working with Janelle. She's gotten a lot better and everything. So, but there's no way that I'm going to have a player that's going to do anything.
The loss put the Heels at 8-8 in conference play and 17-13 overall. The season was up and down as the Heels battled the injury bug all season. When healthy, the Heels were able to pull off big upsets against Notre Dame and NC State. ESPN is projecting the Heels to make the NCAA tourney as a number 7 seed. When Paris Key is on, the Heels are on. When she's off, it's not a good picture. In 7 of the Heels' 13 losses, Key was either injured or a non-factor. She's capable of greatness, having scored 30 points against Notre Dame and averaging 21.3 points per game in the season's 8 conference victories. Key is going to need to be on her game if the Heels want to see some success in the postseason. Coming off that hard loss against Duke, how do you think the Heels are going to fare in tourney play?
Well, when they play Thursday, they'll be playing a second-round game against Georgia Tech, who they should win against, but come tourney time, you just never know. If Paris Key plays like Paris Key can play, I think she'll lead the Heels to a victory, and they should be a real contender in the ACC tournament. Moving on to lacrosse, the UNC men's lacrosse team was the first team to play at the new UNC Lacrosse Soccer Stadium on Saturday, taking on 8th-ranked Denver. The 15th-ranked Tar Heels came out strong. Assisted by Timmy Kelly, Justin Anderson opened the scoring for UNC just 43 seconds into the game. But Denver responded with a 3-0 run, including this unassisted goal by Jack Hanna. The Heels then saw long stick defenseman Jack Rowlett score a fast break goal, and Carolina was able to go up 6-4 at halftime. Freshman Nikki Solomon matched his career-high 2 goals. Watch here as Solomon extends himself from behind the net and puts that ball in the right-hand corner. William Perry also matched his career-high with 4 goals with the assist from Timmy Kelly. The Heels had their moments, but Denver outscored the Heels 12-10 in this tough game. UNC will be back in action Friday against Marist.
It was a doubleheader for the new UNC Lacrosse and Soccer Stadium, and up next is the 3rd-ranked women's lacrosse. Carolina welcomed 5th-ranked Northwestern, which had been averaging 18 goals a game, but the Heels scored 14 points in the first half. Jamie Ortega makes it look so easy. She had 7 goals and 3 assists. She gets the ball and finds her way into the left-hand corner. Later, Ortega comes and 4 defenders are not enough to stop her. This time she runs from behind the goal, and this is her 25th goal of the season. Sophomore Taylor McDaniel played hungry. She broke her shell with career-high 5 goals. She gets the defender behind her back and the goal flashing into the net. Women started off the new stadium history with a decisive win, 21-11.
It was just an awesome win, coming off of Maryland. We were just very hungry and dissatisfied with how we played, so we were just very happy that game week came very fast, and we were just ready to play and redeem ourselves and show to everyone how hard and good we are.
The Heels return to action on Saturday at noon when they open with ACC play, a home match against Virginia.
The women's swimming team didn't initially qualify anyone for the NCAA tournament.
but some of the Heels are getting one more shot at it.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
The UNC baseball team looked to bounce back from its disappointing midweek loss to VCU as the Heels opened up a weekend series against the University of Massachusetts Lowell. Let's cut right to the chase. UNC starting pitcher Jean-Luc Delattre looked like a 6'6" machine in Game 1 at Boschmer Stadium. Delattre threw fire for 7 innings while giving up only 2 hits. With Delattre dealing on the mound, senior Jackson Hesterly brought the same momentum to the plate as he crushed a solo shot in the second inning to get the Heels on the board. In a near flawless game for UNC, the only blemish came with the 14 runners left stranded on base. Shortstop Ike Freeman's double in the 6th inning with the bases loaded sealed the deal for UNC. Heels win 5-0. In the next game, Michael Bush rocked a homer in the first inning to get the bats going for the Tar Heels in Game 2 of their doubleheader Saturday. Dylan Harris' line drive scored 2 to give the Heels a 4-0 lead in the second inning. Tom Caulfield's first collegiate hit scored 2 runs in the top of the third to give the Heels a 13-0 lead. The Riverhawks mounted a comeback, scoring 6 runs in the 7th inning, but it wasn't enough to catch up to the Heels, who scored 13 runs early on, 14 hits Saturday night, giving Coach Mike Fox his 900th career win and a chance for a series sweep. With that series sweep on the line, UNC went looking for the brooms when the Heels took on the Riverhawks Sunday morning. Carolina exploded from the opening pitch, blitzing Lowell with 8 runs in the first 2 innings in what quickly turned into a slaughter. Freshman Danny Soretti continued his strong freshman campaign with a 3 RBI performance, including this double in the 4th inning. Even with the Heels red hot at the plate, the biggest story of the day might have been the pitching rotation, which struck out an impressive 17 batters to secure the 14-2 win. Head coach Mike Fox knows the importance of good pitching.
The pitching for me is always the emphasis. If we pitch well, we have a chance, to win. Even if we don't score 14 today, we'd have a chance to win 3-2, for example. So that's always a bright spot for me when we don't walk guys and we pitch well.
At the plate, junior shortstop Ike Freeman has been a big part of the team's success. He had 4 hits in the season opener. That's the most in a season opener since 2008. He's 16 of 39 on the season with 3 home runs and 15 RBIs. His batting average is an eye-popping .410, which has helped the Heels to 3 straight 3-game sweeps.
On Saturday, the softball team faced back-to-back games, trying to get back to 500 on the season. The FAU Owls got the scoring started on Saturday in the 6th inning, with Angela Agurkis knocking in the first 2 runs with a single up the middle. But it would be all Heels from there, as they mounted a 6-run 6th inning, starting with a single from Zoe Goodman to bring the Heels within 1. The rally continued with Hannah George, who shot the ball past the diving infielders to score the runs that would give UNC a lead the Heels would hang on to. To cap the 6th inning off, the Heels scored 2 runs off a Florida Atlantic wild pitch, giving them the 6-2 victory in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Game 2 saw the Heels take on the Maryland Terrapins in a high-scoring affair. The Heels started their scoring in the 2nd inning, courtesy of a wide throw from the Maryland third baseman that brought Campbell Hutcherson home with the game's first run. The third inning saw a similar result, with Abby Settlemeyer reaching on another error from the Maryland third baseman. 2 runs scored to give the Heels a 6-0 lead. UNC put the nail in the coffin in the 5th inning, with Berlin Delamora slapping a single past the third baseman to score Settlemeyer and Keone Ramsey, ultimately giving the Heels the 11-5 win against Maryland. Now 8-8, Carolina will host the Charlotte 49ers tomorrow.
Several UNC swimmers took part in a last chance meet on Sunday, trying to swim times good enough to make it to the NCAA championships. The women's swim and dive team started the night off with relay team of Fields, Howder, Bauer, and County, not only eclipsing the NCAA A-cut, but also tying the UNC team record and setting a new pool record in the 200-yard freestyle relay. Next up were Allie Ryder and Lily Higgs, both setting personal best in the 100-yard breaststroke. Sophie Linder swam a personal best in the 200-yard back, and to finish up the night, Caroline Howder had a PR in the 100-yard freestyle. Earlier this afternoon, swimming coach Rich DeSelm announced that he will be coaching his last season with the team. He led the squad for 12 years. He's facing surgery for cancer-related issues next month and cited the physical and mental toll the treatment will involve as part of the reason for his departure.
It takes a team of professionals to help student athletes perform great on the court. Natasha Lagur takes us behind the scenes of sports medicine.
Injuries are inevitable in a school with more than 800 athletes, and it's likely many will be injured at the same time. The Stalling Evans Sports Medicine Center provides primary care and treatment for student athletes.
Working as an athletic trainer here is a great experience. It's a very dynamic environment. Each day, while we have things planned, you never know what's going to happen to you. You never know what's going to happen to your athletes or who's going to text you with a need, and you've got to be ready to handle it.
These treatments can be painful for some athletes, but beneficial in the end. There are several different methods the athlete recovers from injuries.
I am here to experience the most loved and hated treatment among student athletes. This water right here can reach just up to 15 degrees. But like my student trainers say, just go with the flow and forget the rest. Wow, it is freezing cold in here. But when student athletes come in here in this water, it decreases inflammation and swelling. Once you get out of the bath, you get warmed up and the blood flows better to the muscles. But like many athletes here say, it is better to be in here than being hurt on the field.
If physical therapy isn't enough, athletes can also get medical attention. Head athletic Dr. Scott Oliaro makes sure athletes can get back on the field or the court.
And if they're diagnosed with a broken bone, then it depends what type of injury it is. Sometimes it's simple that we can take care of, and it may be that they need to be in a cast, maybe that they need to be in a boot. Sometimes some fractures need to have surgery.
There is no way to prevent all injuries, but UNC athletes who get hurt are in good hands. In Chapel Hill, I'm Natasha Lagur reporting.
Stallings Medical Center is one of the many places here on campus that athletes from UNC's 26 varsity teams visit for treatment. Other medical centers are located on South Campus for specific sports such as football, baseball, and of course, basketball.
We called it a forgotten revenue sport earlier, but let's be clear.
Quidditch is actually just a cooler version of lacrosse. Find out more after the break.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
MAC is back and so is football. Spring training opened up at the brand new practice facility on Sunday. Not only has the team changed practice locations, some former UNC quarterbacks have changed location as well. Chad Surratt has changed from quarterback to outside linebacker, and Nathan Elliott has changed schools. Last year's starting quarterback is giving up his final year of eligibility to go to Arkansas State as a graduate assistant coach. In a statement Friday, Elliott called it a difficult decision. Elliott threw for 2,169 yards on the season, including 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. The Heels finished the season 2-9 and got only one ACC win in 2018.
The men's tennis team earned a lopsided ACC win against Virginia Tech Saturday afternoon. The Tar Heels opened with the doubles point, then took all 6 singles matches in straight sets. 5th-ranked UNC is now 9-2 on the season and 2-0 in ACC play. The Heels' next match is March 15th at Georgia Tech.
The Tar Heel women's tennis team swept the Louisville Cardinals on Sunday. The win brings the Heels to 16-1 on the season and 4-0 in ACC play. The team will look to remain perfect in conference play when the Heels take the court on Wednesday at 3 p.m. against Duke.
On Saturday, the women's gymnastics team picked up a win at William & Mary. On the bars, Riley Dewhurst placed first with a score of 9.825, and Jamie DeChico tied for first on beam with a score of 9.850. Junior Kazia Hislop won vault with a score of 9.875. On the floor, Hislop tied her career high with a score of 9.950. The Heels have a quad meet on Sunday in Ohio.
On a campus where there are more All-Americans than parking spaces, athletes whose names will never appear in lights often go unnoticed. But the love of a game is unstoppable. Edward Trench takes us inside a group whose passion will leave you under a spell.
Born from the Harry Potter series, Quidditch is a sport on the rise with hundreds of college teams competing. While the Quidditch played on campuses around the country might not have the acrobatics we see in Harry Potter, the sport has athleticism not everyone can match. Don't let the brooms fool you. Quidditch is not for the faint-hearted.
It's fun because you can pick, if you're athletic at all, you can pick it up. There's always something that you've done in your sports life that can help you with this.
The UNC Quidditch Club is the gatekeeper for Quidditch here on campus. Anyone can join, and the bonds made can be life-changing.
Quidditch means a lot to me, so this is basically my family on campus. I started my first week of school at UNC. I'm a junior. So this has basically been pretty much my whole life, the whole time I've been here.
You don't have to be a wizard to play Quidditch, and the passion that these players play with is a lot more than magic. Quidditch is a sport on the rise that's played with 3 ordinary balls, but that's about where the comparisons to real-life sports stop. Quidditch uses a bludger, a quaffle, and a golden snitch. The game ends immediately once someone catches the snitch. The matches can be hard, but so is everything worth doing.
I mean, we like to have fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously because we're running around with a broom between our legs. You can't take yourself too seriously with that. But it's just, it's a really fun environment. I think on the field sometimes we grind a little bit because we're people are still working into new positions they're not used to. But off the field, we're all super friendly. We hang out probably far too much.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear robes. In Hogwarts and in Chapel Hill, I'm Edward Trench, reporting.
Well, Quidditch looks really exciting, but you know what's more exciting? The Carolina and Duke rivalry. We've got round 2 on Saturday, and I finally won tickets. How about you? Are you going to
Yes. Fortunately, a friend of mine is giving me some of his tickets, and my whole family is going to be in town. It's going to be great. That's going to do it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.